And then if I have like some kind of comedic timing bit where I'm just like,
Yeah. Basically, Juliana is your whole universe for the next hour or so.
I don't know how that's going to go, but you know. Hello, and welcome to Runnah, running on Cape Cod in Massachusetts and beyond. I'm Juliana, your host. Welcome back. Hello, friends. This week, I have two very special guests. I have Ruth Ann and I have Mary, both McManuses, and because we have a daughter and mother team with us today. So welcome, ladies.
Thank you for having us. Oh, this is so exciting.
Thank you so much, Juliana. We're just so happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited for you ladies to be here too. And like we were already talking about before the show, you ladies have a really good story, both of you, separately and together, because you kind of had, from what I know of you, have your own personal health challenges, but then you've kind of come together to the point where we are now. And obviously you are related too, so that's part of the shtick as well. But why don't we start with you, Mary, because obviously that you are the older of the two, and I believe you probably got into running first, if I'm not mistaken.
Sort of.
We got
okay.
into it together.
Okay, even better. I love it. So we'll let you start, and you can kind of interject and just we'll let the story kind of flow.
Okay.
That sounds great. So 18 years ago now, I was diagnosed with Post-Polio syndrome. I had polio as a child, and it's deemed a progressive neuromuscular disease. And I went to Spalding Rehab, and they told me to prepare to spend the rest of my life in a wheelchair. I went back in a toe-up leg brace. I used a cane. And that advice I needed at the time because I was driving myself. I was a type A personality, and I really wasn't practicing good self-care. I was a social worker at the VA. I had kids, a husband, and I really didn't know how to take care of myself. So long story short, I get this diagnosis. And there was a physical therapist at Spalding who said, no, you're not destined to spend the rest of your life in a wheelchair. And we worked together. She was fantastic. I'm in touch with her to this day. She's very special.
Oh, that's great.
One of those wonderful, special
people. Her name
people.
is Allison Lamar Poole. Fantastic. And now she has her own business where she coaches women. So.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
She's great. Wonderful person.
Wonderful person.
Oh, great.
And yeah, she's up in Maine.
Oh, cool.
So I got discharged in May of 2007, and I took a leap of faith. I left my career as a social worker, and I went to heal my life. I discovered the gift of poetry in my soul, which harnessed the power of the mind-body connection. And that first poem that I wrote was called Running the Race.
Oh, okay.
Why am I writing about running the race? I don't know, at the time, right?
Yeah.
It told the story going forward. She worked with a personal trainer, and the first time that you met with her for the initial assessment, it was a disaster. She couldn't even get up off a chair, but they worked together, and slowly she got stronger and stronger. And long story short, she asked my mom what her next goal would be. And my mom said, well, I want to, dance freely. I want to be free in my body. I want to do upper body. I want more strength. And then
I'd like to come out of my toe-up leg brace.
Which is a good goal.
I want to walk outside. And then, this is in February of 2008.
Okay.
As she was getting ready to open the door, my mom said, wait, I have one more goal. And that is to run the 2009 Boston Marathon.
Wow.
We weren't there for that, but later on, we heard my mom announce to us that she's running the 2009 Boston Marathon, and I said, You're not going to run it alone. We'll run it with you. And so that's how our running journey began.
Oh, wow.
Side by side. We'd always walk, and we were pretty healthy, but
it was
active. Yeah, but it was a real wake up call, that we really had to get active.
And get moving.
Moving.
Yeah, well, you guys know now, running a marathon is no joke. Like,
no.
You gotta practice, you gotta get out there and get those long runs in, get that time on feet, because it's it's gonna kick you in the butt in some capacity. Either the training or the race or both combined. You're gonna have some come to Jesus moments at some point.
We had a lot.
We literally did on our training runs.
Oh my
The
God.
snow kicked me in the butt, and one time I went up and my feet went up in the air, and
Oh,
my
no.
mom kept running.
Oh,
and
no.
my dad saw me. He was driving. He was like keeping track of us.
Yeah.
He was support crew that day.
He was support crew. And my dad said to my mom, I think she's stuck in the snow. And
Oh,
all
no.
they saw were my two little legs dangling. And we have such wonderful memories from those long runs.
Oh, my
It was
gosh.
so funny.
I bet. Now, what kind of led you to the point of being like, I want to run the Boston Marathon? Because all the other things that you're saying that were your goals, like, kind of make a little bit more sense to me as a jumping off point for where you stood physically in the moment.
Yeah.
But that seems just like a big goal that just came out of a little bit out of the blue, at least. But was there some kind of inspiration for this specifically?
It just came out of my soul, really, Juliana.
And she's a go big or go home gal.
Yeah, I've always been. Yeah, I've always been go big or go home. But no, it just came out of my. It came out of my soul. I mean, I'd watched the marathon.
Yeah. 'Cause you
I've
guys
been in
live here.
Boston since 1971. So I've watched the marathon, and I used to joke. I had reconstructive leg surgery to correct a bow in the leg from polio, and I was on crutches, and several times. And I would joke and say, oh, no, I'm not running the marathon this year. Well, be careful what you put out there. But at any rate, I'd never run a day in my life. And my personal trainer, Janine, God bless her, she could have said, are you out of your mind? Like, what are
Yeah.
you smoking? Like,
Yeah.
what's
going on?
What is
Are
this?
you okay?
Turned around and said, we're going to get you a pair of running shoes.
That's great.
That's amazing. And so we went to Marathon Sports, and our inexpensive running habit.
Is now currently not an inexpensive running habit.
Yes.
Oh,
no.
my goodness.
Yeah.
We got shoes, we got new sports bras. I said, we have to get serious about this. We cannot wear what we're wearing. We were in sweatshirts and like pajama pants.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, I've been there too. When I started initially running, when me and my mom did the Couch to 5K when I was like graduating high school, I was in $9 Payless shoes that were like my gym shoes from that. Like they weren't even new Payless shoes. They were like old Payless shoes that were like not meant for running.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we have that in common. Yeah.
Yeah.
We were clueless. Is that how
Yeah.
you got into running?
Yeah,
too?
me and my mom did the Couch to 5K program in like 2011, and that's just kind of like it kind of just snowballed from there.
Wow, we have
So,
that in common. That's
yeah.
great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
haven't done like track or anything or like cross country. None of like the formal iterations of running before like doing road races as an adult. So
Wow, I would never have guessed that for you. Like, I would think that you were like a track star.
oh god, no, absolutely not. I'm terrible.
She was actually a gymnast.
Oh yeah, I did used to do gymnastics. I did gymnastics and I was on a trampoline team when I was in high school.
Wow.
So that I did, which don't ask me to jump on a trampoline now. I'm absolutely terrified that I'm gonna break something if I do that.
But the running wasn't until later in life.
Yeah, not till like I didn't do my first half marathon until after I graduated college.
Wow.
So it was just like a gradual progression. And now I'm doing a 30-miler in a couple of months. So
Wow. That's fantastic.
yeah, just kind of that gradual progression. But yeah, so back to you guys, because you're the stars of the show today. So you just decide that you're like, my soul has spoken to me. I will be running the Boston Marathon in 2009, and I see you got the jacket on too. And I'm 100% sure that this happened. So
I should have worn my medal. But anyway.
you could have if you wanted to.
No.
I'm not going to stop you. It's a medal that's worth quite a lot of time, energy, and money. So
Oh, yes.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So
And we ended up raising over $10,000 for Spalding.
oh wow,
So
that's awesome.
I was like, oh, this fundraising, it's going to be no problem. Fast
Yeah.
forward to today, where I'm running for Spalding, a
Yeah.
full circle moment because I've had my health challenges,
Mm-hmm.
and Spalding has just been incredible
Yeah.
part of my family.
Yeah.
They are family, and
Yeah.
the outpatient providers. Erin Foley was the best OT. She helped me with scheduling, financial management, just daily life activities, executive functioning. Which was so lost throughout, challenges through life, and they've just always been there. through neuropsych issues like depression, anxiety, and then fast forward to last year when I was having non-epileptic seizures and I couldn't swallow, and and I wanted to run Boston for the past 5 years, but I was like, this time, like, I have to run it. I'm healed from all my ailments. Like, it is time. And so we've raised $8,575 so far.
So far.
So far. We're hoping to raise more. I don't know if you'll put the fundraising link up with
I'm
this.
going to put the fundraiser. So if anyone wants to donate to Ruth Anne, you can donate in the link that's going to be down below in the YouTube video and also in the podcast description. So I will put those in the description below. So if you're watching this, look below this. Or if you're listening, go check below, because that way you can donate. And I'm sure we'll get more into this in a second too, but you guys are like doing like live streams and prizes, and they've really been working it, trying to make this money.
Oh, yes. It's been a full circle moment. And not to mention the gradual progress in between. I ran LA last year. My mom has run 3 consecutive Bermuda half marathons. Like,
that's fun.
Her journey just does not stop. She's running another half this year.
Yeah, I want to get back to the half marathon distance. I had a big setback. I had an adverse reaction to the second COVID vaccine.
Oh, yeah.
My nervous system just was not happy with it. And, you know, it happens. What can you do?
Yeah, there's only so much you can do.
And she was lying in bed one day. I said, Ma, you got to do something about this. I'm signing you up for a January 1st Chilly Willy 5K. And so
it was virtual, though, because I didn't want to take the stress of, you know, not being last or driving there and everything. But it was a beautiful New Year's Day
and
in
she
2023. I PR'd it.
Oh, wow.
And I said, I'm back. And so Ruth Anne said, you need an epic goal. I said, I thought that was pretty epic considering my setback and what shape I was in.
Yeah.
No, you need something epic for your 70th birthday. I turned 70, not this past Christmas, a year ago. 71, in case you were wondering. Anyway.
I mean, this is life goals right here. I hope to be in, like, running half marathons when I'm 71. Like, that sounds great to me.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because we were out in the cold. It was 7 degrees. She goes, I'm 71. I'm 71. She's out there running.
It was 7 degrees.
Yeah.
Well, also because, we were debating about whether or not to do a training run and the track indoors or outdoors. And one of our friends who is a cancer survivor, triple negative breast cancer survivor.
Brooke,
wow.
Yes.
Yeah, she's Candace Brooke on social media. And she was out like at 5:30 that morning.
And I said, if she
freezing,
can
I'm
do
sure.
it, so can we. So we went out. There was not a lot of wind. Yesterday I did the track because it was really windy.
Yeah, it was kind of windy yesterday.
Yeah, we were afraid she'd get bonked on the head with a branch or something.
Yes.
So it wasn't pretty. But we go outside, and you know, I got to tell you, I believe that I'm younger than my 71 years because of running.
I'll vouch for that.
And if I didn't start running, I probably would be in a wheelchair. Yeah. My body is healed. It's been the best therapy. I do a lot of mind-body visualizations, so I've rewired my nervous system to reconnect muscles and nerves, and the body responds. And you are such an example of that. If you want to talk about the functional neurological disorder.
Yes. So in June, all of a sudden, one night, I couldn't swallow.
That's so scary.
It was so weird. It was, I guess my brain was misfiring.
Yeah, the wires weren't like lined up anymore.
No.
Like something just kind of like the wires shifted them a little bit so they weren't touching anymore.
Yeah, I think that's a
good explanation.
That's a good explanation of it.
Yeah.
So what ended up happening was that we had 4 trips to the ER, and
that's so scary.
At Brigham they diagnosed me and sent me right to Spalding, which was the biggest blessing. And so I said, you know what, this year I've got to train and run the marathon.
Yeah.
I have to for them. The timing is perfect. And so we've been training and fundraising, and it's been a team effort. Sometimes my mom comes on the videos with me. She'll always say, oh, I look terrible. I'm like,
what can I say? But you know, Ruth Anne, also I think something just to paint the picture. I mean, I mentioned that I was in a leg brace and using a cane, and they told me I'd spend the rest of my life in a wheelchair. So I was very debilitated. Ruth Anne had periods over a month
Where I couldn't walk.
where she couldn't walk.
Really?
Couldn't talk. Just the wires.
Just weren't aligned anymore.
And non-epileptic seizures, I don't think we mentioned that.
Pines, I think it is. There's some
Okay.
abbreviation for it.
Yeah.
So at Spalding, one of the biggest things that they know how to treat this, which is
key.
Yes.
Yeah, super important.
Oh, yes.
and they didn't say, oh, it's psychosomatic, it's, no.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
they didn't,
thank
like,
goodness.
belittle you or anything, which is
No.
like, honestly, like as you ladies probably know, especially as females navigating the healthcare system, the gaslighting out there is so real. It's terrible, and if you end up in the wrong hands, then you just like, you feel like you're making it up.
Well, I went to one hospital and they told me that it was psychosis or psychosomatic.
Yeah,
and then
pretty much just means like you're going crazy and we can't do anything for you.
right.
Yeah.
But then at the Brigham, we saw a neurologist and she was fantastic. And got me right into Spalding. And I
That's
said,
great.
well, we know a great occupational therapist. So Erin got me right back on track, organizing my days, money management, a little bit of speech. But I had speech therapy with Allison, who was amazing. I wouldn't be here talking on a podcast.
No, she wouldn't.
I wouldn't. Like,
I believe you.
She was amazing. She has me do like Oz every day. I read for 15 minutes from like running books. It's so cool.
Oh yeah, I've been following the books that you've been reading.
Yeah.
Some of them I have read, some of them I put on my read later books. Currently right now I'm reading The Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. So when we're done with that, we'll go to some more like running based books, I think. Because I like some of the recommendations that you were putting out there.
Oh yes, Make Every Move a Meditation by Nita
Oh, my
Sweeney.
gosh.
That was amazing.
That one was your favorite so far?
Yes, so there
Okay.
were many blessings out of this. Like I wouldn't be reading out loud for 15 minutes every day.
Yeah.
My mom's a warrior. She sits there and listens, but it is a great book.
Oh, no, it's like having an audiobook.
Yeah, it's so
So
nice.
we really, one of the things that we've tried to do ever since my post-polio diagnosis and then through all of your challenges is, look for the treasures, look for the blessings, and also
Yeah.
be grateful for what we do have. Spalding, I got to tell you, I mean, they helped me get on track. They made a proper diagnosis with post-polio syndrome, which is very
Yeah.
difficult to diagnose.
Oh, I'm
it's
sure.
a diagnosis
There's
of
a whole
exclusion.
clinic in Framingham, actually.
Right, which
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
And that's where I started. And that I wanted to run for them. I don't know, is it in the genes, Ruth Anne?
I guess
don't
so.
know.
I don't
But,
know.
I don't know. But it was just, it was an incredible journey. And then we were both bitten by the running bug.
Yeah.
And then these past 5 years, running has been an integral part of your recovery, initially with the neuropsych issues, and then now with the FND. And physical therapy was just incredible.
They
Yeah.
had me speed walking, hopping, ladders, Bosu
wow.
balls. I mean, incredible.
Everything.
State-of-the-art treatment at Spalding. Absolutely. The mothership, as I like
The
to call
must ship. Yeah.
All research-based, Juliana. I mean, they,
Oh, yeah.
the
They're
speech
great.
therapists, the occupational therapists, the physical therapists, they would all quote from the research.
Mm-hmm.
And then they would apply it. And so supportive, so
And
encouraging.
they all have specialties.
Yeah.
Like there are some that do stroke survivors, some that help stroke survivors, some that help with FND, some with polio. So they all have it's specialized care, which
is so
amazing.
important.
Yes.
Yeah. As someone who has like a chronic illness too, like I totally get where you're coming from, and like it makes a world of difference just to get someone who, one, doesn't tell you that you're just making it up, because that's half the battle, and two, actually understands where you're coming from with your condition and your disease, and tells you like, hey, this is what you have, this is what we can do to help you out. I really liked what you said, Mary, about just being thankful for what you do have, just because, again, we come from that same background of like having some kind of chronic illness that we're dealing with. And like one of my favorite things to do recently, over the last maybe like 2 or 3 years, is at the end of the day, I journal, and part of my journaling is writing the things that I'm thankful for. And also just actively telling people in real time, like, thank you for doing this, and making the note to myself that I'm not guaranteed anything, and it's so nice that people are doing like kind things for me, or like the people at Spalding did kind things for you, or that like my rheumatologist is like so kind and responsive with me, that like say thank you. just like actively be
Absolutely.
thankful for you. I'm also in the camp too of like calls to like. So like the energy that you put out there into the world is generally speaking the energy that you're going to get back. So if you're kind and you're thankful towards other people, you're usually going to get at least a little bit of that back, hopefully.
Absolutely, absolutely. And actually, one of the books that we're reading by Dr. David Hamilton is The Joy of Actually Giving, and then there's an expletive. But it talks about kindness and being grateful and how that helps the immune system.
Oh, yeah.
So it's all connected. I mean, and I think also running, he talks about running, exercising increases the endorphins as well, which is huge.
Yeah, yeah.
And with gratitude, if I may,
Yeah, go ahead.
that inspired you to do your weekly giveaways.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
absolutely. I have a list if
Yeah,
I
go
can
ahead.
share. So we're getting more prizes. This is happening live in Falmouth. We're getting more prizes.
Exclusive.
Get some like local Cape Cod, like authentic items that you can give away.
From the Black Dog.
Ooh, from the Black Dog, everyone. They make nice sweatshirts and hats. I have a hat that I think is from 2014 that I still use to this day.
Oh yeah.
It's a great hat.
They don't wear out.
Yeah, it's a
They're-
fabulous hat.
Anyway.
So they're putting together, I think, a gift card, but they gave us a mug and coffee, and that was so popular.
Oh, that
Ooh,
was a
that's
big
fun.
hit.
Yeah, so we're trying to get more. They're very generous.
Oh, that's great.
So on 2/6, we are giving away Hillary Topper's book and my mom's book. We try to give away books as much as possible.
Love that.
2/13, I hope you win this.
Okay.
A $25 gift card to Gilfrey's. And
Oh,
then,
get some chocolate.
oh yeah, I hope you win it. Fingers crossed.
Oh, yeah. The Gelfie's chocolate is like really good.
It is. And then going local in our neighborhood in Brookline, a gift card to Livite, $50 gift cards.
Ooh.
And then we have tickets to the North Shore Music Theater about a Shark the Musical or something.
It's, the Shark is Broken. It's
Shark.
actually a comedy about
Oh.
Jaws,
Oh, that's fun.
the making of Jaws.
Oh, that
And
sounds hilarious. I think I love that.
The person that acted in the movie was furious about the spoof, which makes it all the more funnier.
That's great.
And also, if I may, Karen, who is the manager at the North Shore Music Theater, she was at Spalding post-COVID. She
Oh,
almost
okay.
died during COVID.
Wow.
Her husband did die during COVID.
Oh, God. God bless his soul.
And so
Yes.
when we reached out to her, she said, "What do you need?" So
Oh, that's
we have
wonderful.
two pairs.
Two pairs on March 6th and March 13th.
Uh-huh.
And then on 3/20 is Revolution tickets.
Oh, the soccer team?
The
correct?
soccer team, yeah. So 2 tickets there, and then we're gonna go to Patriots Place and ask for more goodies. That's part of the fundraising. It's just like cold calls, going door to door.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
She'll walk in anywhere and say, "Excuse me."
Would you like to donate?
Yes, and 9 out of 10 times, people are so generous.
Yeah.
I tell them I'm running a marathon for Spalding, and they just, no problem.
That's fantastic.
I've also done fundraising for victory programs as well, and again, no problem.
Yeah.
They help with homelessness and people in the LGBTQ plus community
Oh.
protections.
That's much needed right now.
Yes,
Both homeless and the LGBTQ plus community.
absolutely. They do advocacy. They have a farm.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, victory programs, Revision Urban Farms. So I've fundraised for them as well through running.
Yeah.
Just making up like a year of victory, and I'd run like 3 half marathons in a year, and
I love that.
so I'd raise money for them as well. And again, the same people, just they give over and over again, and we're
Yeah, they
so
show up.
they show up when you tell them you're running. And I recommend this for anyone doing fundraising. If
Yeah.
you tell them you're running and what cause you're running for, 9 out of 10 times people will donate.
Yeah.
And they pick up on your passion, Ruth Ann. They
Oh,
pick up,
thank you.
your passion for,
Yeah.
when you had passion for victory programs, it was just, it came from your heart. And people sense that. Even, the first fundraising goal deadline was Monday. Tuesday the 29th, the
Yes.
27th. And that was $2,000. And when,
Which you guys are way past.
Oh, yes, yes.
Not that you shouldn't donate. You should still donate.
oh yeah,
Oh,
because
yes.
what is your,
My ultimate goal is $10,000, and we have a couple more prizes through Marathon Weekend, ending with Bill Rogers and a $20 gift certificate to Newtonville Books and a $20 gift card to Johnny D. So Bill Rogers signed books.
Nice.
And then, so we're closing it out, and I might get see about getting another gift card to Heartbreak Hill as well. That's on the docket. More books. Matt Landry, we read his books on managing your depression. I mean,
okay.
just
and Patrick Lieber.
and Patrick Lieber.
Big shout out to Patrick. He donated 2 books.
Oh, wonderful.
Plus, he made a monetary donation.
Yes,
Um,
yes. Why run when you can drive and smoke at the same time?
You would love that book.
Yes. So those are the prizes, but the books are great, and that's been an incredible blessing coming out of this as well as reading. I have to read every day for 15 minutes, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
And so Nita Sweetie, Matt Landry, David Hamilton, I think are the 3. All health and wellness.
Yeah, those have been your top favorite books that you've read so
Oh
far?
yes, oh yes.
I think that's wonderful.
Thank
And
you.
Shane.
Oh, Shane Benzie, The Lost Art of Running.
Oh, okay. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
These are the books that I saw that you had read, and I'm just like, aha, we have to put these on our list of books to read. We'll borrow them from the library, and then
Absolutely.
we'll have a nice time with them. But I think what I'd like to hear from you guys too is, are there any challenges that you've come across with the fundraising side of it specifically? Because I feel like there are a lot of people who, like, they want to fundraise for an organization, but that thought of fundraising $10,000 or whatever the amount of money is so daunting and terrifying that they don't really want to take it on. What kind of advice would you give people, or like any challenges that you have come across over the years?
I would say start at a $10 donation and go from there. No amount of donation is too small.
Yeah.
And just take it $1 at a time, quite literally, and it all adds up. All those $10 donations add up. All those $20 donations, the gift giveaways. Of course, there are people that are very generous as well. We have a very generous neighbor that donated $500. So we do have some of those.
Oh, nice.
Very rare. But as a whole, though, I think I've had the most donors, the most number of donors because of the grassroots. And I say, any amount. Do you want to donate $20? I'll ask my high school and elementary school friends, would you like to donate $10? Most of them do.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I definitely have. So I'm fundraising for the Berlin Marathon, as you guys know, and I did New York City about a year and a half ago now, and I'm probably going to do some more fundraising going into the future. But that's really what I've found is really helpful too, is just like asking individual people and like letting them know in the moment. Like, I think it's the individual ask, which is really important, because a lot of people will see like a general thing, and some people will donate. Like when you put your thing up there, I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. I'm definitely gonna donate.
I think I messaged you on Giving Tuesday. I said, it's Giving Tuesday. Can you?
I was like, yep. I think I had meant to I had bookmarked it to donate, and then but that's what happens too. People they mean to donate. I actually just had one of my friends, Tom, who told me he was going to donate forever ago, and I completely forgot, and then messaged me out of the blue, was like, hey, send me your link. I just remembered I was going to donate to you.
Yes, absolutely. It takes on average 3 times.
Yeah.
And so fundraising is so fun. I don't think I could ever stop. I always find causes that I'm passionate about and fundraise.
I think the biggest thing is you have to be passionate about your cause.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
And also, I know this may sound hokey, but be open to the surprises of the universe, because you never know. Like Ruth Anne had some anonymous donations, 129, 250. They don't tell us. They can't.
The person just presses the I want to be anonymous button.
So they can't tell us. So we don't know who. I think you have about 12.
Quarter of the donors.
12 donors, but
that sounds about right.
I think the thing is, it's the energy you bring to it too.
100%.
And I knew you were going to reach your goal, but I also said, this is such a great cause that if we need to kick in any money, we can.
We also weren't expected to raise this amount of money this fast, but it's just been amazing. And we do our daily live videos.
You came up with that idea.
Some are better than others.
As someone who's done a lot of live videos and live things, both in person and on video, you're never gonna be right. There's some ones where you're gonna be wow, I really just killed it there. Everything just lined up, and then there are some where everything just goes wrong, and you're like, wow, we kind of scraped through on that one.
Oh yes. I'll be the drum roll was. We were talking about this. The drum roll is going a little longer than it should. Can you read the answer to what our gift giveaway is?
I'm just I don't know.
And I think, one of the biggest challenges is the mindset about it. I think if you go in knowing, and in this climate, a lot of people don't realize how people want the opportunity to be kind and generous.
Yes.
I call it radical kindness, radical generosity.
And radical compassion.
And
as well.
radical compassion. And I think I feel a lot of people resonated to your story and what you've overcome. And Ruth Ann had a whole campaign laid out and was just so confident. I mean, we thought we'd make it by April 27th, and that would be great, the 7,500, and now going for at least 10,000.
Yes.
Where's past your goal, which is great.
Yeah, and the other thing too is we didn't talk about the adaptive sports.
Oh, yes, I'm volunteering with the adaptive sports, and part of the money
that's
goes
fun.
to that.
Oh, that's
and
wonderful.
it's not covered by insurance, so it is critical.
Okay.
I say this is critical for people to donate to because,
Yeah.
People of all abilities want to reach their athletic potential, you know? And so I tell people that the Spalding Adaptive Sports Program is so important.
I love that.
It's a huge part, I see it firsthand, hand cycles or three-wheelers for people that have had strokes. And
I did adaptive sports
Yeah.
at Spalding.
Yeah.
I did their cycling program, and now Ruth Ann is volunteering there.
Yep,
Oh, that's
I get
wonderful.
people water, I walk around, see how they're doing.
Yeah.
You do transfers?
I do some transfers,
We
yeah.
transfer people in and out of their chairs if they need a little bit of
Yes.
assistance.
Yeah.
One of my big long-term goals, and I've yet to fill this goal yet because we just haven't found anyone, is to lead a blind runner through a marathon, hopefully. Just because I'm very good at hitting a consistent pace. Like I'm like a metronome. Like I can
Wow.
and I also know how to not shut up the entire time while I'm running. So like if there's someone who needs to know where I am there. They can see me, and I'm also the person who's like, I'm more than happy to narrate the entire course and just be like, whole, full, left, right, and just like tell
You're very
people.
present, so
Yeah.
I think that would help.
Yeah, and
You'd
it's
be
just
perfect.
And I promise you, I will cry tears of joy at the end, and I will not be. You will not be able to stop me from crying the entire time. Like I will break down crying.
You'd be amazing.
Yeah.
You'd be amazing.
Yeah.
You should find a.
I've been looking for someone who's like local, but we haven't. We've been putting it out for the Cape Cod Marathon to try and find some more adaptive athletes because we do offer. So if anyone is watching this and you are an adaptive athlete, or if you guys know anyone, you get a free entry to the Cape Cod Marathon or any of our races if you are an adaptive athlete. So
That is fantastic.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
yeah.
Yes.
So entry is free if you are an adaptive athlete. And then also I've been reaching the people at the Falmouth Road Race. The gentleman Matt, who's in charge of the adaptive athletes category, knows that if he gets a blind runner, I get the blind runner.
Awesome. Yes, that's amazing. You'll be amazing. Adaptive sports is so important, especially through Spalding. They have bike club, they have kayaking, they have yoga, they have weightlifting. I mean, it's a whole pickleball.
Oh, that's awesome.
And some of the
Hockey.
recreational therapists, hockey,
Yeah.
they get
Sled
competitive
hockey.
too.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
I'm sure they do. Like I
Yeah.
mean the Paralympics are nothing. Like people are like, oh, Julian, you should be in the Paralympics. I'm like, you think I can qualify for the Paralympics? I don't think you understand that these people are like insanely talented and athletic, and they are not joking around.
Oh no, they are very, very talented. And the hand cycles, they can go for 40 miles.
Yeah, it's
I tried it
wild.
for like 10 minutes and I ended
Did
up
you
in the
end up in
bushes.
the bush?
Yeah,
Like,
one of the recreational therapists, Sasha, said, I leave you for 2 seconds and you're in the bushes.
that would have been me too.
Yes. So.
Yeah, I know that I'm never going to take up any kind of like cycling racing because like I am so unaware of like where the bike is when I'm on a bike,
Oh,
and
yeah.
like I watch those biking like races, and the bikers are like this close to each other, they're like stuck up against each other. It's wild.
It is. Could you ever do a triathlon?
I don't want to do it.
No.
I also like I get cold really easily, so jumping into the water is like absolutely not. I'm like like if we did a triathlon, maybe in like Bermuda or something where the water's like 80 degrees, I would consider it. But up here, absolutely not. Unless it was like in a heated pool or something.
But we've been so lucky. Every single fundraising milestone from 2009 to today. My
Yeah.
husband ran Boston Children's Hospital.
Oh, wonderful.
And I always have this joke, like, well, marathoners often say, I'm not running another marathon. I say I'm not fundraising for another marathon, and
She always.
I always do.
Yeah.
Because it is fun, and you put the fun in fundraiser.
Oh, thank you. As do
Yeah.
you. And my dad would not have run Boston. We would not have. She opened up a whole new world for us.
Yeah.
And so
Thank
we
you.
are so grateful for you, Mom.
Oh.
You really helped us
Thank
get into
you.
helped us get into shape as well. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've all, running has just been such a blessing in our lives. And my husband Tom ran for Children's in 2011, and we exceeded the fundraising goal there. We've done some kick-ass concerts, but it
Oh, like
just...
put on the concerts?
yeah, back in the day when a cappella was really big, a cappella music, we would get like the collegiate groups to do them, and they'd bring in a lot of money. But now it's not the same kind of.
Yeah.
They auto-tune their work. It's not the same. So we steer away
bummer.
from concerts, and they can be hit or miss. There could be a blizzard. So
Yeah.
now it's the gift giveaways, I think, really help.
Has
and
been helping a lot
if
for
you're
you guys.
passionate about a cause, 9 out of 10 times they are so generous and will give. And
Yeah.
it's small businesses too. That's what's amazing about it.
Yeah, it's people who are, it's not like you're going to Walmart or Target
No.
or something that has just billions of dollars worth of equity to throw behind it. It's the smaller businesses, like you mentioned. Like the Black Dog is big, a little bit bigger, but still not huge, or like the Gelfie's chocolate, things like
Gelfie's
that,
chocolate.
where they have 2 stores. There's the Falmouth one and the one that's in Mashpee, and that's it. And they're owned by Scott, who lives in town, who will probably be on this podcast at some point.
Oh, great.
Yay,
Yeah. Yeah.
He
Yeah.
wrote it out in a heartbeat.
Yeah, Scott's a good dude.
He is. He's amazing. He
Yeah.
is so kind. He was in the back, I think, doing some business or making
Yeah.
some chocolate. I
Doing
can't-
something.
Doing something. He's always doing something. And he took the time to write out a $25 gift card, bring it to the front, and put it in
That's
an
so
envelope.
nice.
And then, of course, we had to try the chocolate to just make sure that, it
Quality
was,
check.
we had to check.
Yeah, we don't
Quality-
want our
quality
donors.
assurance.
Yeah, we don't want our donors eating something that.
Yeah, we need to make sure that this is top-notch chocolate,
Oh, and it is. Oh, my gosh.
But it's amazing, and I do believe that people want to be kind and generous, and when they hear your story, they're so inspired by it.
And there's also something so special about the running community in
Yeah.
general that I think people are willing to donate as well. I mean, saying I'm running for this cause means that not only are you dedicated to fundraising, but you're also dedicated by doing something that's very challenging.
Yeah, you're training too on top of it, which I think is something that sometimes people forget, is that when you're training for a marathon and you're fundraising for a marathon, you're not only working the money side of things, you also have to put in the miles on top of it.
Oh, yes.
Which is a
Yes,
conversation
it is.
when I fundraised for New York the first time, which was the first time I've ever done more than $500 worth of fundraising, because it was $3,000 which is not even close to what you're doing, but still a significant amount. People were like, oh yeah, that must be so hard to fundraise. I'm like, you do understand too that I am also training on top of this too. Or even when I went to Tokyo, people were like, I wasn't fundraising, but I was planning for a Tokyo vacation, which going to Tokyo, very challenging just because a lot of different rules. It's a 16-hour flight. It's
How
quite-
was Tokyo?
I loved it. I can't wait to go back. Highly recommend. So if you can fundraise through Spalding or something, and that's a goal that you have, and you want to go run the Tokyo Marathon, I would really highly recommend it. Absolutely, just so well run.
And you're going for star number...
Berlin will be 5, yeah, and then London will be my 6th when I do that, hopefully in 2026. So, but yeah, would definitely highly recommend. Also, if you decided you wanted to run with Team for Kids, which is the charity that I usually run with, they do have a Tokyo team, so you could also do that too. If anyone wants any information on that, more than happy to do it. I absolutely love the Team for Kids people so much.
What is Team for Kids?
So it's the New York City Marathon's premier charity, and what they do is they bring running and physical activity to underprivileged kids in New York City, providing them with gear, shoes, but also they have kid-specific races, programs, after-school activities that they run. These kids are so cute. They're so cute, and the whole organization behind it is just the nicest people you will ever meet in your entire life.
Did Hannah, is that who Hannah ran for?
No, she ran for Parks Run, but similar to
Yeah.
provide programs for
for like underprivileged kids. Yeah, it's a really fabulous
for youth and elderly. Yeah,
Which,
the Parks of New York City. I forget the exact name,
but what that reminds me is, and I think you two coined this term called swapsies. So,
well, when you said, "Would you like to donate to mine?" Swaps, and I went swapsies.
Yeah.
like I'll donate to you if you donate to me. Or,
Yeah.
You know, and I think that that's great too. That's all part of the running community. You know, it's one big pot, and I'm just so grateful for that.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of us who are pretty deep in the running community have fundraised for something at some point, and we know how challenging it is. And like someone's like, it was funny because my friend Pam is running Boston for, I can't remember what charity she's running for, but she posted on her Facebook page, and like I must have seen the post like right as it went up because it just popped up to the top of my feed, and I was like, I'm donating, and so like I don't. She's like, wow, I put that up, and like literally 5 seconds later, Juliana, you had donated. And I'm like, yeah, because I know how challenging it is to fundraise.
Yes.
Like I'm gonna throw my money into the pot. I can't donate like thousands of dollars, but like I'll throw like $25-$50 in.
The camaraderie in the running community is so special.
Yeah.
You know? And you always say, it's like I broke the tape when I come into the finish line. Like, you just,
oh my goodness.
People are so kind, you know, even though you're back of the packer.
Usually dead last.
Which honestly, I'm a big proponent of like pace does not matter. I personally have no idea how you do that. Like I have so much respect for the people who are out there running like 6, 7, 8 hour marathons, because mentally at 4 hours, because I usually run between like 3:30 and 4, and that's like usually my normal time. Like at 4 hours, like my brain is like, we are done. This is the end. We check out mentally, Juliana, which is going to be a challenge for the 30 miler, and that's why me and my friend.
Are you doing Ghost Train?
No, it's the Watapa 50K. But I've been low-key harassed by many people many times to run Ghost Train, and I said maybe not, and honestly, I'm probably going to run it in the fall. But my friend Ben, who's been on the podcast, does a lot of trail running, and he also wants me to come have him pace one of his like 60-mile ultras that he does. So I might not do the whole thing because it's up in the White Mountains, so I would probably just do like 20 miles, but it would be a grueling 20 miles.
Oh yeah, I was just thinking that's the word that I was going to use. Yeah,
it's it wouldn't be an easy feat. So, but yeah.
Well, we were out there for Boston 7 hours and 49 minutes.
Yeah, that's
we got an early
impressive.
start.
We did.
Thank
yes.
God.
It's impressive.
Nowadays we wouldn't get an early start, and Ruth Anne keeps saying, I wish you could do it, and I said, no, my marathon days are over, but I will
see.
Yeah, you
we'll
could
go
always
for
do New
another
York. They keep the finish line open until literally the last, like there's no time limit on it. Like the last person finishing, they are there until like midnight if they have to be. And they bring out a DJ and a light show, and like people come and party like hardcore at the end, waiting for everyone to come
And the
through.
elites come out.
Yep,
and they greet the last runners, and that's the thing that I think is so special about the running community.
Yeah,
is just how they embrace all paces, and it's incredible. I mean, you can imagine, easy out Alper, my maiden name in gym class. I could not kick a ball. I couldn't be a part of athletics. I was recovering from paralytic polio. And yet, when I found my way to running, as a matter of fact, at the Marathon Sports 5-miler, it was my first 5-mile race, and the Marathon Sports team knew about my story because they fitted me for my first pair of running shoes.
Yeah.
Shout out to Marathon Sports, who's also donated to the gift giveaway.
Yes.
I came on the field, and they were blowing the air horn, and they were cheering.
Yeah.
There was cold pizza. That didn't matter. They said, please, we're sorry the pizza's cold, but, and it's incredible. And I loved watching you, calling the Cape Cod half and the Cape Cod full. I mean, you celebrate
all day.
every single
runner.
My prerogative about that is that everyone did something challenging today. So the first person, honestly, I'm the least interested in the first people who cross. Like I usually, me and Mike announce it together. You probably don't even know Mike because Mike literally does the first couple of people half the time. We've kind of shifted it to be 99% me, but he'll announce the first couple of people so I can get a break because he knows that as soon as the mic hits my hands, I'm not giving it up. And but I'm so disinterested in announcing the first people who are finishing, and I don't even know their names. But you better bet your butt that I know some of the people who are finishing at 4 hours, 5.5 hours, because people come up to me and they'll ask me hey, can you announce this person because they just recovered from cancer or whatever, and this is their first marathon, or we've had some people who are they're doing the 50 states, or they have these amazing other stories too. And obviously it's a small enough marathon where we can make that happen. Boston's obviously a little bit different.
Yes.
It's a lot more going on, harder to get to the announcers at the finish line. But everyone who finishes is just as important as the other person who finished before and after you, no matter where you are. And one of the things we're actually trying to do a little bit more fleshed out this year, and hopefully even more fleshed out the next year, is a final finisher zone. Is keeping the finish line open, with our PA system, with gear, with all this stuff, and keeping people there as a little party going on until the absolute last person
I know,
finishes.
Juliana.
You don't have to do it now, but
No, I
if you
think that's wonderful
It
because there's nothing like being celebrated as a back of the pack or the, what did they say,
dead fucking last.
Yeah.
You can swear in here if you want. This is,
okay.
As long as we're not just screaming expletives over and over and over. A couple of swear. My rule for this show is that if you wouldn't hear it on a sitcom that's on the 7 or 8 o'clock time slot on ABC or something, whatever, because you'll hear a few swears on those shows here and there, then it's probably fine. If we're moving into the midnight and beyond time slots, then probably we're a little bit out of our range.
But yeah, I mean, being DFL time and time again, and we were very lucky to get the early start at Boston, and your pace. You're gonna do great, Ruth Anne,
Thank
and
you.
you can't think about. I mean, I know you were. Part of the challenges of your training right now is figuring out your pace.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I'm thinking about doing a 12-minute mile, but Boston humbles you. You say 12, it'll be 13, 14 for me. So.
Those are my slowest times, honestly. Right now, I think I've run 10 or 12 marathons. My two Bostons are definitely my two slowest times.
Oh, yes. It will probably be my slowest. But in LA, I had to wait for the porta potty for 20 minutes. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to, F it. I'm just going to run the pace that I want to.
Yep.
And so I did a 14-minute mile. But the first, couple miles, I was cruising. But then once the wait for the porta potty, I was just
Your heart rate kind of drops while you're standing there. Yeah, kind of puts you in not the best place.
So I'm hoping for Boston a 13.
I think you can do it.
I think so too.
You've been so consistent with your training, and
I'm doing 12 and a half right now for training. But once Boston comes, that course will humble you. The whole course from start to finish.
Oh, yeah.
Where it starts downhill and then heartbreak. That's when the marathon starts, though.
Well, that's around right before mile 20. And I always like to tell people too, because my prerogative with marathon training is the people who stop and finish their longest long run at 20 miles, if they've never done a marathon before, I'm I pity you, because that last 10K always, I like to say, is spicy. It can be a good spicy, it can be a bad spicy, it can be an indifferent spicy. But my biggest advice to anyone who's running their first marathon, even if your longest long run is 20 miles, go walk at least another 2 miles afterwards. If you feel like you can't run them, at least get the feeling of getting
that. Yeah.
because you have to it's great that your marathon training stopped at 20 miles, but the actual physical marathon doesn't stop at 20 miles. And if you're running Boston, you ladies know from if you're running any major marathon, be it New York, Chicago, Tokyo, even with Clarence DeMar, a smaller marathon, Cape Cod is a little bit of not so much because everything is in one spot and the parking lot is so close to the starting line and everything, and it's a loop. You come back to the same spot you started in, but for Boston specifically, because the starting village is about almost a full mile from the actual starting line, and then you have to do the whole big loop afterwards to get out of the finish line area, you're probably doing close to 28 to 29 miles total for the whole day, whether you like it or not. And that's just kind of, if you want to run Boston, that's just kind of how it is.
And also, too, I texted my mom. I was at 19. I'm I'm doing great. I'll be at the finish line soon. And then I said, the difference between mile 21 and 19 is huge.
So different.
So different.
Oh, yeah. I have had my butt handed to me, somewhere between miles 20 and 26 many times. I'll be doing great. I'll hit mile 20, and then all of a sudden it gets spicy. the mood shifts, and you're like, oh no. Oh no.
Absolutely, absolutely. But you really hung in there during your run. Like, you were just, the crowds, there were people out there, our friends were out there. You really, like, she was so consistent that day. She just did her 18-minute pace all the way through. It was amazing. It was amazing.
I feel like that after 20 miles, like, again, like you shift into a different zone, but it can be a great zone. Like, when I ran New York, like, I felt fantastic at the end, because I was like, I realized I was probably gonna finish it, and the crowds in New York are bananas. Like, I've never seen crowds like that. Yeah. I think when I ran, it was like 52,000 runners, and there must have been over 200,000 spectators.
That's
easily.
what they say, yeah.
There were spots in the course where, like, it was bottlenecking for the runners because the people were so deep on the sides that the road was, like, being impeded because people were so far deep. Like, it was like 20 people deep on each side screaming for you. And everyone was reading our bibs and, like, screaming our names. And so I was on, like, a power high. And
I never hit the wall.
No, that's what I'm saying.
On Marathon Monday.
Yeah.
Well, our trainer met us this was back in the day when you could do this.
Yeah.
Our trainer met us at the top of Heartbreak Hill. My personal trainer, Janine, our team trainer, Dominic, met us there. I worked with an energy healer, and she met us with a sign. She was, she was through Spalding. She was there on Heartbreak Hill with a sign. And then when we got, I was also, Team McManus, was the subject of a photojournalism student.
Oh, that's
so fun. I have all these incredible pictures of the day. It was such a blessing. So he was there, and then I had a person who was going to do a documentary about me. He and my son met us, Ruth Ann's twin, met us at Cleveland Circle and went in with us. You had friends all along the course.
Yes, high school friends, a couple college friends. Yeah, it was amazing.
And marathon sports people. But this year, I have a spreadsheet of who's going to be
who's going to be where.
We call her the marathon manager. She is so organized.
You need that, though. Like, it's running. One of the other things people don't realize about running, especially major marathons, the smaller marathons, you can get away with a little bit less organization just because they're like a little bit less pomp and circumstance. Navigating, like, getting between locations, a lot more easy than it is like with Boston. Boston's a funny course too, and I like to tell people like, yeah, I'm going to meet my person, I'm going to see them at this mile, and then I'm going to take the tee. I'm like, you're going to see them once and at the finish line. So you pick somewhere before mile 10, and then you go see them at the finish line, and that's going to be it.
Yeah.
Like, don't not get overzealous about this. Your person will not be happy because then you will not be there to pick them up at the end if you try and do all those things.
Yes. Oh, yes. I mean, it is the marathon, and I feel so blessed to have run it and to be running it. So it is the marathon. It's the oldest marathon. It's historic. Yeah. And Dave McGilvery actually sent his books for the gift giveaway and wrote a note that said, "See you in Hopkinton."
Oh, that's great.
He said, good luck with your training.
Good luck with your training. See you in Hopkinton.
We have it on the fridge. Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So, I have a spreadsheet with all the donors, and then tracking the gift giveaways. And we have in case you're wondering, how does this gift giveaway work?
Well, there have been times when I've seen a prize and I've been tempted to rig it, but my mom says, we gotta do it honestly. So we have a wheel of names.
Oh yeah, you have one of those like websites where you put everyone's name into,
and there's a wheel.
It does the
Vanna White-esque.
Yes, Vanna White-esque.
Or Pat Sajak, I should say.
Yeah.
Only he's not hosting anymore. I think it's Ryan Seacrest now. Anyways.
Oh, is it? I'm not up on the lore of Wheel of Fortune anymore.
Well, it's very game showish.
Which is fun, though.
Yes, absolutely. Every Thursday, Thankful Thursday gift giveaway. And then I said, okay, so now it's time to spin the wheel. And I click, and then it goes around and around. And then we always shout, whoever wins, we always shout their name. And ooh.
Oh, wow, look. Ruth Ann's dental hygienist won.
She won one, yes.
Yeah, she won the gift bag from Trader Joe's.
Who cleans my teeth.
Ooh, that's a good prize right there.
That was a great prize. There was tea, coffee, and the cookies, and the person that did the gift giveaway actually at Trader Joe's said, yeah, that's no problem. We can't give away a monetary gift giveaway, but we can give away our products. And so he had me shop around the store.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Supermarket sweep.
Fun and fundraising.
With his bag, and I said, oh, please God, I hope a local person wins this, because shipping would be very expensive. But,
Yeah.
you know, we just shipped out, we did a priority for the person who won the
Black
Black
Dog.
Dog mug
The
and
mug and the
coffee.
coffee.
Yeah. And we sent, $25, but we also, we love all of our donors, but this went to Alan Frost, who is the president of Flava Naturals.
Chocolate.
Oh, the chocolate. Okay, nice.
Yeah, which is
and
incredible.
I will say the Falmouth community has given so many gift certificates, so many prizes. The Island
Through the
Queen,
years.
through the years, the Island Queen,
Oh,
Gelfies, Black Dog,
Eight Cousins.
Eight Cousins.
Cousins, uh-huh.
I love Eight Cousins.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
Oh
Did
my
You guys
gosh.
go to the new location? Because they
Yes.
expanded to where, I think it was the Green Eye Daisy was in there before, and they kind of shifted over. And now Eight Cousins is in, they have like their adult section where that used to be, and then all the kids' books are in their original location.
5 times they've donated.
That's
To
amazing.
different.
Anejo?
$15. Anejo has donated.
Oh, yeah.
I think we're forgetting,
So many.
but the Falmouth community has been really wonderful. We've been coming
The
to
Island
Falmouth.
Queen has donated quite a few times.
Yeah, they've
4
donated.
tickets. Yeah.
That's exciting.
We've
That's
been coming
wonderful.
here since you guys, 20, 30 years.
6 years old, yeah.
Wow. Do you guys have like a summer house down here?
Oh no,
Oh, just
we
visiting?
spent the night at the Marina Trade Winds that was owned
Oh.
by another company.
I don't even know where is the Marina Trade Winds? Does that exist anymore?
No, it's taken over
In
by
Seasons.
In Seasons Resort.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
it was
Right on that
Yep.
side
the
street.
Falmouth
Yep, yep,
Marina
yep.
Trade Winds when we stayed there,
Yeah.
and it was fun. It was a great time, and we've fallen in love with Falmouth ever since. And people here, I would say, are so generous. And again, they're small businesses,
Yeah.
all local.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, and a lot of them too are like either related to something running, or are like with the Gelfies chocolates are runners themselves.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
does Falmouth, right?
So he's the president of the Falmouth Row Race right now. And actually, spoiler for anyone who's watching this, our next guest is going to be Ben Flanagan, who is the winner of the Falmouth Row
Oh.
Race multiple times.
wow.
So we'll be interviewing him next week, actually. So when this comes out, it'll probably be, again, another week until you get that episode. So we just confirmed Ben in this morning.
That's
So-
Exciting.
Yeah, he's a good egg. He lives in town now, so
Oh, wow.
because he's married to Scott's daughter.
What a small world.
Yeah, kinda is.
Wow.
Kind of is.
That's crazy. Wow. And is Scott daughter a runner too?
I think she used to be a little bit more competitive than she is now, but yeah.
But her husband, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ben was just at he competes for Canada. I don't know where that's going to stand going forward with his like buying the house. I don't understand, because there are people who like run in the Olympics who run for like Croatia, but they live full time in the United States. I don't understand the logistics
Yes.
of that.
Okay.
But yeah, he was just running for Canada in the Olympics this past year.
Wow.
So
That's amazing.
He's pretty serious. But just like the small town thing, how I had messaged him on Instagram, and then the other day at Walmart we ran into each other, and I was like, "Hey, you want to be on the show?" He's like, "Yeah, sure."
That's amazing. So
small
stay
world.
tuned next week.
Yeah.
And speaking of shows, there's another podcast, On the Runs.
Oh yes, I've talked to them. When they come down here, I think they're coming down for the road race or another event. We're going to have them on the show as well
That's
too,
going
I
to be a
think.
great time.
And possibly, I need to talk to the Believe in the Run crew too, because they might be coming down here for Falmouth, and I'd love to get them in here too. So
The On the Runs, what they're doing is they put a word out, the word out and said, are you running for a charity?
yeah, for Boston.
And so they're going to be doing, I think Eric said he needs a couple of shows now.
Yeah.
And they're going to have, so far they have 15 charity runners.
Oh, wonderful.
At least. And they're going to have 15 minutes each. They're going to put their, put the link
Yep,
to their
their donation
fundraising
links.
page. And Eric, who is the co-host with Erica, said, I can't donate to everybody. So this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And that's incredible. Again,
Yeah,
the
that's
running
wonderful.
community, people do so much for each other. And beyond the running community, I have friends that said, look, I can't donate, but good luck, I know
Yeah.
you'll do great. And that is just as important,
Yeah.
if not more important than the monetary donations as well. So
Yeah, I always like
Yeah.
to tell people too, like exactly what you're saying is like, even if you can't donate, just like being kind or like sharing it with someone else, or maybe like reposting it or something, like that means the world, to just be able to feel like you're being supported by everyone, or as many people care to support you. It's just that sense of community that you're just talking about, that we've kind of referenced quite a lot here, which I think is really important, is just, it has no monetary value to it.
No. The running community is fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, I messaged you. My mom actually suggested it, and I said, oh, okay. I don't know if she'll have us on. And you said, well, next week.
Yeah.
It's like,
I'm like,
oh.
yeah, I'm more than happy to, like, anyone who I feel like is doing something good in the running community, love to have you on, especially if you're someone, like, again, who kind of falls into, like, the Massachusetts, New England kind of area. Definitely looking to get people on too. And we have a fair number of guests that I have lined up too. One of the other series we're going to do is actually highlighting the race directors for each of the local races around here.
Wow.
So that way people can kind of get a little bit of a taste of the local running scene down here in Falmouth. But I'm also going to try and get some people on who, one of our running club members, Ivan, just finished his 50th marathon state.
Wow.
So, and he's a wackadoodle runner if I've ever met one. He ran like 3 marathons like in 3 consecutive weeks. I was like, wow.
Wow.
So
Ultra.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. He's a good dude too. He's a lot of fun. So we're gonna try and get him on at some point. But yeah, just like I'm a big fan of, I think, what your kind of like inner mantra is just ask. Like,
Yeah.
if you don't ask, you don't know.
The answer is always no if you don't ask.
That's exactly it. Yeah, I always tell people too, like, if you don't ask, what's going to happen? You're going to stay in the same spot. If you do ask, what's going to happen? You either stay where you are or you move forward. There's usually, generally speaking, especially if it's something like you're asking for fundraising money or a donation, there's not really a negative outcome that's going to actually like push you backward in your trajectory. Someone's not going to be like, no, I'm not going to donate and I'm going to take away $5,000 from you. It's like they're just going to say no.
Absolutely.
And you know, Juliana, what's interesting is that follow-up is so important. You mentioned
it's super
that.
important. Yeah.
And for every no, there's always going to be a yes coming forward, you know?
Yeah.
And so it really helps knowing that, you know, the next business will say yes. You know?
And like referrals too. Like if someone's like, hey, I can't donate right now, or even if you ask someone like, hey, can you donate like $25? They're like, I can't donate right now, but I like Trader Joe's, like we can give you like food items, whatever it is. Or someone's like, hey, I can't donate, but my friend is part of like, say like Bank of America or whatever, and they have a corporate giving amount that they have to do. And I know they were actively looking for places to donate to. Here's that person's number, contact them.
Absolutely. It's all about connection and community.
Yeah.
In terms of running, I feel. And,
Yeah,
and especially fundraising.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But there's so much power in it, the training, the scheduling, the fundraising. Like, I mean, it takes a lot of discipline.
Yeah.
And it's hard, and there are times when
Yeah.
I want to quit, but then I
same.
I say I can't let the people that donated down, you know, and I can't let myself down, you know. I've got to do this. I've got to follow through from start to finish, you know, finish the race.
Yeah.
And Ruth Ann still, I mean, she's still doing the PT. She's still on top of the training.
Oh, yeah.
The speech therapy. And when you had a few weeks ago, Ruth Ann had a sinus infection and a double ear infection, and
God.
infections take anybody out, but especially Ruth Ann. And, you know, we just said, well, you know, take a day off, let your body rest and recover. But then you were
right back at it.
And like yesterday, you had an early morning doctor's appointment, and the wind kicked up. And
Really badly. I didn't want to
said-
get going in the head with the
stick or something.
thing. Yeah.
And so I said, well, then you know what? Also at Spalding, they have an incredible team to support the team.
Which is
So they
awesome.
have a physical therapist,
Jen Green.
Jen Green. Big shout out to Jen.
Hi, Jen.
They have Dr. Carter, who's a psychologist who works with the mental aspect of training.
Amanda Ravens, who's our director and captain,
Organizes everything.
organizing commander-in-chief. She's amazing. She organizes brunches. She does everything for
Schumann.
the team.
Amanda Schumann.
Yes, Amanda Schumann.
And she's in charge of like the Boston Marathon fundraising.
Yes,
team.
yes.
yeah.
And she has deadlines. It's very structured and very well planned, the Race for Rehab team.
That's
And
great.
we're very, very lucky, yes.
And then they have the vice president of operations, Kara, who's at the team runs, Stephen Patrick, who is the vice president or
He's
chief.
Chief Development Officer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They changed their titles,
yeah,
so
I mean,
it's hard to
it's kind of
keep
just like a
track.
fluid thing.
But anyway, so there's this whole team, but Jen she's been the PT for the team for years, and her specialty is training for marathons. And then, lest we forget, Kate O'Neill Tenford.
Who wrote out the training plan. Yeah,
Oh,
they give a
okay.
training plan.
That's really nice.
And she's like, you have to walk around with a 30-pound weight kettlebell. And I'm like, the first time
This
I
is
got
Jen
it.
Green, the PT.
Oh,
Yeah,
the PT,
the first time I got it, she did a webinar on strength training.
Yeah.
And the first time I couldn't even hardly pick it up. Now I can walk back and forth with it, but she said, suck in your core and walk with a kettlebell, a 30-pound kettlebell. All of you are over 130 pounds, so
You can pick it up.
you can pick it up. So then I started. I brought it in. I could barely hold it, but
Taking it out of the Amazon box.
Oh gosh, yeah.
but this is the whole process of training, and we're so blessed that the team has such a great team that we can turn to. And if there are any questions about adjusting the training schedule, speaking to yesterday, you were like, I'm going to just, I'm going to take a rest day. I said, well, they said that's fine.
Yeah.
And the
then
next
I ended
thing I
up
knew,
going to the track
Mom,
at BU.
can I get over to the BU track today? I said, yeah, sure. You can take the car, or I'll drive you, whatever.
Yeah, so
And you got in your run.
4 miles around the track. That was
Nice.
about 50 times. But my Garmin, probably shouldn't say, the Garmin wasn't exactly accurate. So I kept going around and around
Oh,
and
that's
around.
okay. Yeah.
But just-
my watch has a hard time on the indoor tracks too. It's not really the most accurate.
No.
It's been funny for me to try and track treadmill runs and see what I just put whatever it is on the treadmill because the arm movement of my watch, it doesn't do it correctly, but it's very funny for me to see the discrepancy between the two because it'll tell me I ran 7 miles here and then it'll say 10 miles on the treadmill and I'm like, okay, so half a mile would be okay, I'd be fine with that, but 3 miles is slightly different.
Yeah. So I just said, Mom, it says 7 times around is 1 mile. And I just kept going around and around and around.
But these are some of the challenges, that come
Yeah.
up.
You
And
gotta
they're
figure out how to
funny.
navigate
Yeah,
it.
Yeah.
and also powering through, the hard
Uh-huh.
days. Your first 5 miler was in the snow, but you loved that.
Oh, yes.
Your video
yes.
from that was just pure joy. Some runs are pure joy. I knew I was going to finish Boston. I had no doubt.
Yeah.
But some of the training runs, I had blisters to beat the band on our last 20
We
miler.
knocked into each other. We went, and go, and we were crossing.
Oh, yeah. And we lost each other around Jamaica Pond one time.
We lost each other in a
Don't
circle.
ask how you can lose
And
each
this
other
last
in a
training
circle.
run, they were going to meet me at Wellesley, and she said, "How did we miss you? How did we miss you?" I said, "We're Team McManus. Of course we miss each other. If we miss each other in a circle and get lost."
You actually were going so fast that you got to the end of your run before we got to where we thought.
Oh, or you thought she was going to pass by you?
Yeah.
On the way to the end of the run.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was
But
pretty
marathon
cool.
training, man, there's nothing like it. You build up endurance, you raise money for a good cause.
Mental strength,
Mental
too.
strength, physical strength, discipline. I mean, so much goes into it. And then, of course, at the end you say, oh, I'm going to take a break and then sign up for the next one.
Yeah. Or you're thinking about the next race you're going to run as you're crossing the finish line, finishing. I was like, that is true mental illness right there, is finishing a marathon and halfway through the marathon being like, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. And then you reach the finish line, this is the best thing that's ever, and you're actively thinking, I'm going to go sign up for another race now. It's like, Juliana, take a chill pill. Just breathe for 3 seconds, okay?
Well, in 2014, I blew out my left knee, and they told me I was going to need surgery, and they told me my running days were over. I never should have started to run, and God bless Western medicine. I know they mean the best.
Yeah. It's not the most well-rounded, though.
So I found my way to a chiropractor. I doubled down, and I was able to heal my left knee without surgery. I grew a new gastroc muscle using TheraBand stabilizers and KT tape and chiropractic and visualization. And then I went
Back
on
on the
to,
roads.
and I got back in 2015 which is where I met the race director from Bermuda. Very dangerous, Juliana. I mean, you hear
as a person
their-
who knows race directors and knows that like it can be dangerous to know the people behind the scenes, they suck you in.
It's like a spider's web, isn't it? They just kind of.
That's usually like my job at the Cape Cod Marathon is I am that person who like if you meet me, there's no way back.
I'm thinking about my next race is actually doing the Cape Cod Full Marathon, doing the Chowder Challenge.
Oh, I've done that twice. It's a lot of fun.
It's the
half on Saturday and the full on Sunday.
Yes, and it's going to be my dad's comeback race because, as you saw,
took a little
he
bit
was
of tumble.
announcing us and he took a tumble. But now he's back and he wants to do it in a little bit slower.
Yeah,
but
because he pushed the pace.
he pushed the pace.
That's okay.
But
you live and you learn, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping to do the Chowder Challenge. That's my next. After Boston, that's my next thing.
Yeah, you get the Chowder mug, and then you also get the medal that's shaped like a spoon that has 39.3 engraved in the. It's an actual. You can use it as a functional spoon. It's a full size spoon, and you can use it to eat your chowder if you want. So you can taste all 39.3 miles in every bite.
Perfect. Yeah, that's my next goal. Heard it here first on Runnah.
Come back and run the Chowder Challenge. It's a lot of fun.
But then I healed the knee and I met the Bermuda race director, and it was always on my bucket list to run in Bermuda.
Oh,
and because I went to Bermuda when I was pretty disabled. Not pretty, I was disabled, and I was in a wheelchair to go around the airport and all that, and I was in my leg brace and my cane. Anyway, I went on to run 3 Bermuda half marathons, and this speaks to, you never say I'm done. You never say I'm done as a runner. Or a runner.
One of the two.
No, you don't. And, the comeback is always greater than the setback.
I
And
love that.
gosh, you are just a living example of that,
thank you.
Ruth Ann.
As are both of you, strong women on the show today.
Yeah, I feel like every time you hit an obstacle, if you're able to have a good positive mindset about it and overcome it in like some form or another, I like to tell people too, like it's never easy. And the process is never pretty, and like it's hard. It's not going to be easy because people will be like, "Oh, Juliana, like you have like this weird muscle condition and stuff. Like, how do you get out there and do it?" I'm like, "I just do it. Like you just got to get out there and do it. Like, and not pity yourself. Like you can have days where you come back and you're so upset and you just cry. You're like, this is the end. Blah blah blah. And give yourself space to feel those feelings. But then you got to move on from those feelings. You can't marinate in them for the rest of your life. You're not going to get anywhere.
And get worse.
Yeah, you're just going to
Not
get
only-
worse.
yeah.
Like physically and mentally.
Yeah.
It's just picking yourself back up after you're done. Like let yourself cry, let yourself feel the feelings, like be upset about it, get it out of your system. And then just move on.
One of the things that I've said consistently when I share Ruth Ann's fundraising videos of the day is that you have to be amazed that Ruth Ann could have made her full recovery from FND and you could have gone on and lived your life.
Yeah,
You could have done that.
But I really wanted to run.
You really wanted to pay it forward. You really wanted to be of service. And you really wanted to test your mettle.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
In this way. And ironically, one of the things about functional neurological disorder is running actually helps.
Probably increases the blood flow to your brain, I
Oh,
would
yes,
imagine.
absolutely, absolutely.
And on days, there were some days early on when you couldn't walk,
but I could
but
run.
she could run.
Yeah, people ask me about that too with my muscle condition. And they're like, Julian, how do you do it? I'm like, honestly, I'm in more pain when I'm like, for me, driving is like the worst thing because it's like, you can't, you just it's like the 90-degree angle, like sitting like this, and then like not being able to physically like adjust or move or anything for long periods of time. My body's just not a fan of that. I was like, honestly, yeah, like if I drive for like an hour or two, that is more painful than running a full marathon to me. And people are just like, I don't understand. It's like, well, I mean, one, you're not in my body. And like, two, the person who's talking to me usually is not a runner who's making that statement. So anyone who's like actively in the running community is very much anti that like blanket statement of like running hurts your knees or like something of the like. When people just tell you something, they're like, oh, running's terrible for you. You're like, well, my friend who's over here like probably drinking like 7 Cokes and hasn't run like 5 miles in like hasn't even walked a mile in the last like 5 years, I don't know if you're the one to be giving health advice right now.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Running. I mean, there are so many benefits to it as well. And so,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's so much joy, and there's
The
also the
endorphins.
Yeah, and the community too, like you
Oh, the
mentioned.
community. There's nothing like it. I remember we were on our friend Jordan Rich's podcast in 2009 about the Boston Marathon, and we said it was all about community.
Yeah.
All about community.
Yeah, yeah. It's the people that you meet, it's the people that you connect with, and just feeling just that sense of belonging with other people who are interested in similar things to you, but also getting to meet other people who are doing different things than you. People who are doing like track races or trail races or ultra marathons, or like someone who's really
Tries, yes.
Yeah, tries, or like rucking races or things like that. Like it's so exciting to meet other people who are passionate about other things that are like similar, but also just kind of
little
get where
different.
you're coming from. Like they understand.
Absolutely. And the wide range of ways to run, as you said, is incredible. Like track runs, the really like tough mudders.
Yeah,
all of
tough
those.
mudders, things like obstacle races and things like that. You got like your trail running, your traditional road running. You get those people who just like really love like steep uphill races or like steep downhill races, you know, whatever their your cup of tea is. I'm sure you can find it here.
You can find it. You will definitely find a race that you like. And I had no idea you had a couch to
the Couch to 5K background.
No idea. I thought that you were
no.
a track star.
Absolutely not. No, I never go to the track. I'll do speed work like once in a while. The last couple of weeks I've done speed work and I'm like, wow, who am I? Who is this person? I don't know this person.
Are you doing it outdoors?
I've been doing it on the treadmill, so that's how I've been engaging myself on the treadmill, is like, because I just lose interest when I'm running on the treadmill. And so when I'm doing treadmill runs, I'll either like really screw around with the elevation and just like, I actually like to watch like live, either live if it is, or the replays of the ultra marathons that they do like out in France, because one, the race is usually like 12 to 20 hours long, so I know they're going to run longer than me, and I know it's not going to be like a half-hour episode of like a show where it's going to run out. And the views are absolutely stunning, and so what I'll do when the person on the TV is going uphill, I'll change it, and I'll just kind of like guesstimate the grade that they're running at.
That's amazing. Talk about the mind-body connection. Like,
Well, it keeps me watching what they're doing, and also just keeps me being like, it gives my fingers something to play with while I'm doing that too. So I'll just be like, boop, boop, and my treadmill does the decline too, so I can do like the decline and the upcline.
That's amazing. Talk about interactive running right there.
Yeah,
That is
I mean,
amazing.
it's man-made interactive running, but I told my friend Ben, who runs the ultramarathons, that we're going to start making an ultramarathon treadmill where we're going to have him on the treadmill and then have like a giant fan and also some like plastic and foam like obstacles that we can like rocks that we can like put onto the treadmill and like just blow random leaves at him and like be like, it's snowing, and then just like
running the musical.
Yeah, like just like chucking things at him and like making it much more authentic to a mountain. Put the incline all the way up and then add in like handholds so that he has to like climb up the treadmill. Make it as interactive as we possibly can. But that's a pipe dream that probably has a lot of electrical issues and dangers that may or may not make it possible. So we'll see. We'll see. But okay, so I think we're probably reaching about the end of the show. I feel like we've touched on almost everything.
Everything. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah.
We're so really
Amazing.
grateful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you all for watching.
Yes, thank you.
I'm so glad that you ladies were able to come on. I think this is fabulous. I think people are really going to resonate with everything that you had to say. And hopefully they'll donate to your charity. Yeah, so anyone, again, if you are
Here,
still
you
watching.
have your Spalding.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
you
you're
have
wearing
our-
your Race for Rehab.
Race for Rehab. Woo! So if you'd like to donate, again, that will be in the description below, either the YouTube video that you're watching or the podcast episode that you're listening to. So go ahead and just scroll down, hit that link, and give Ruth Ann some money for her charity fundraiser that she's doing for Spalding, which is really
Absolutely.
awesome.
And then you're entered into the gift giveaway. That goes until April 17th.
Yes, with a bunch of gifts that I read off today. So
Yes.
But any size donation, it
Any
all
amount.
adds up.
Yeah, anything. That's why I like to tell people again too, is that like if you want to give $5, that's great. That's $5 more than I had before. It's
Absolutely.
You want to give 10, that's right. If you want to be really generous and give more than that, more power to you. You don't have to,
Absolutely.
but I appreciate what you're doing.
Absolutely.
And we appreciate you
We
and all you're
appreciate
doing with
you.
Runnah
Yes.
and
all you do in the Falmouth community. You're a big deal in the Falmouth community.
I had someone tell me that I was famous the other day. I was like, very, 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 very nichely locally recognizable. Maybe not famous, but recognizable. Which, for me, this is fun because I'm very passionate about the Falmouth running community. And I feel like we have one of the best like communities for running, if not only in like New England, but like, if not the country. Just
Absolutely.
because it's just such a positive place. Like, it's the place where like, I go out running, and like even yesterday I went out running, someone's on their porch just like sitting there, and they're clapping for you, they're cheering for you, like, and you're like, woohoo! I'm out on a regular run on a Tuesday or whatever, and they're there cheering for you just because they can be. Or like even this morning, I had like a couple people, because I'm the crazy person who runs in shorts until it gets to like 20 degrees, who were just like clapping for me because I'm wearing shorts when I'm
about
running
that.
around.
Yeah, there's one in every crowd.
Yeah, that's me. I hate wearing pants when I'm running. It drives me bananas. But like, it's just such a wonderful community, and I really like, and you guys are part of it too.
Oh, thank you. The Falmouth community, the Falmouth running community has always been so good to us, and we're so grateful. And grateful to you as well, Juliana.
Yeah, same to both of you ladies too. It's so wonderful to just like know you both, and you're just wonderful people. So
as are you. Thank you.
yeah, we're just out here on these streets trying, trying our best.
Just doing the best we can, and bringing some joy and light and love and caring and kindness and gratitude to the community
And to the roads.
And to the
roads.
Yeah. Except for to the biking people who almost run us over every time when they're on the sidewalk.
Too.
If you're on a bike, you're not allowed on the sidewalk. I'll stand by that. I will yell at you. I do yell at the biking people around here because they're notorious for being on the sidewalk, especially the kids who are on the sidewalk. I'll yell at them because they're just being dumb. It's I'm like, did anyone teach you manners? Absolutely, they did not. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. No one needs to get hurt today. That's really all it comes down to. Is we all want to
Safety first.
Yeah, we all want to go home and be in one piece if we can.
Absolutely.
That's really the long and short of it. But okay, well, thank you, ladies, for coming on today.
Thank you so much, Juliana. This was great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And thank you for everyone who is watching today. If you'd like to get in contact with the show, you can hit us up on TikTok and Instagram at RunnahPod. We're also at runnahpod@gmail.com if you have any questions, queries, quandaries that you have for me. I was going to say and the team, but the team is me, so me. But we will see you on the next episode of Runnah. And then that's the end. And
wow.
That's all there is. That's all she wrote. I have no idea what time. How long did we?
2:20.
Oh, we went for a while, but that's okay.
You have a lot to work with.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Runnah. This podcast is edited, hosted, and produced by me, Juliana Coughlin. Brought to you in part by the Falmouth Running Club and the Falmouth Community TV station. If you'd like to connect with us, you can find us on Instagram and on TikTok at RunnahPod. And you can send us an email at runnahpod@gmail.com. And our original theme music was brought to you by the one and the only wonderful Jeffrey Hutton. And keep up the great work. I'm proud of you.